धर श्रीवासादि Ramatavrenda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhav 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 Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Jaya Prabhu Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So we'll do the Mangalacharan. Om Jnanatimidandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamancha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमः विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जय पताका स्वामिनिति नामिने नमो आचार्य पादाय निधाय कृपा प्रदायिनि गौर कथा दामधाय नगरी रामादितारिणे नमः विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे कथंचन स्मृतये अस्मिन् दुष्करं सुकरं भवेत् विस्मृते विपरीतं शास्त्री चैतन्य नमामि तं मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिमित्तपतमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवम श्री चैतन्य ईश्वरम हरि ओम तत्सत्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Hare Krishna. So, as we all know that the most auspicious Kartik month has started, and in this most auspicious Kartik month we celebrate the whole month as Damodar Leela. Although Damodar Leela was that pastime Krishna enacted on the day of Diwali, but it is such a beautiful pastime that we celebrate it every day during the entire Kartik, and we daily, every day we remember the pastime and we sing the song. So last class, every one of you had told that has asked me to discuss the pastime of Parshuram, but then Ashra Subhadra Mataji had told that we can discuss Damodar Leela because this is the month of the Damodar Leela, and we remember the Damodar Leela throughout the month. So it will be very, very auspicious and very, very pleasing if we all discuss in this month only. So I will be sharing the slides of Damodar Leela and we will be discussing it today. So how many of you are doing lamp offering daily? Okay, Anushri Mataji is doing. Giridhar Gopal Prabhu is doing. Deepti Mataji is doing. Then Jaya Mataji, Sharmila Mataji is doing. Ankita Mataji, Veena Mataji, Darshana Mataji is doing. Okay, so many of the devotees are doing. And rest? Dhanalakshmi Mataji, Manohar Prabhu, Murlidhar Prabhu, Pramod Prabhu, Ratna Mataji, are you all not doing?
Mataji, as you
unmuted Mataji, they can say, speak.
Okay. Okay, so many devotees are doing, I can see. It's very nice because we should do actually. It is very, this is like a sale. Prabhupada has told that Damodar month, the month of Kartik is like the Bhakti sale, in which if you do, if that is a very, very simple vrata. We take up a Damodar vrata and that is very, very simple vrata. In that, we take a vow of daily offering a lamp to Yashoda Damodar. This is the picture in which we offer the lamp because this is the form of the Lord. We try to remember the entire month. So, so this is the vrata is that we will daily offer the lamp and we will sing the Damodar Ashtakam every day in the evening. So this is the vrata we take, and it is mentioned in Skanda Puran and Padma Puran and so many places. The description is there that that a person who offers lamb gets so much of benefit. It is like hundreds and thousands of benefit one gets. One gets free from all the material contaminations. Then one who offers lamb, there is also a description that how the Yamadutas never come to take that person to the hell. And there is a description that how he gets the fruit of like offering thousands of cows in charity and so many doing thousands of Ashwamedha yajnas and everything even doesn't equal the one lamp offered to Krishna during the month of Kartik. So it is very, very purifying, very, very purifying. And at the same time, when we sing the most auspicious Damodar Ashtakam, then we can just remember Krishna so easily. In fact, it is said that we should encourage others also. Like if at home, if you have nearby people, you can invite them for Damodar program. Not every day, but like if not possible every day, then some days of the month you can invite. Like I remember like when I was in my college, that time we used to invite the entire college and all the girls, like almost some 80-90 girls used to come to attend our Damodar program, and they were not devotees, but because um, they were because we were inviting them, they were all coming, and they were very happy in offering the lamb. So in that way we can engage others also in the service. So I hope you all are offering. So Mataji is telling that she's in Vrindavan. Nima Mataji is telling, oh, it's very, very nice, Mataji, that you are in Vrindavan. It's very nice. Okay, so we will start with the discussion of Damodar Leela. So how does it start? Actually, what happens one day? Maybe we can read also and simultaneously we can discuss. Someone can read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Once seeing that her maidservant was engaged in different household work, Mother Yashoda personally churned butter. While she churned butter, she sang the wonderful childhood pastimes of her son Krishna and relished thinking of him. At that time, Krishna appeared there and was hungry. He wanted. Sorry, I can't see. He wanted.
To stop churning the butter and feed him first.
And feed him first. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Okay, so how does it happen? Like I was reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Damodar Leela from Srimad Bhagavatam, and in the second verse it was mentioned the beautiful description of Yashodama. So it was mentioned that how actually what happened, Yashodama we all know that Nanda Maharaj and Yashodama, they were like the king and queen of the entire Vrindavan, right? And the Nandagaon actually. And they had lot of servants. There were some 9 million cows. In 9 million or 11 million cows were there in the with Nanda Maharaj. So they were so, and all the cows were taken care of very nicely, and there was a certain group of cows which would give very very fragrant milk, which was known as pushpaganda milk. So one day when there were so many maid servants in their house, and they were all taking care of different household activities. So one day when Yashodama saw that all the maid servants were busy in different activities, she was just thinking that how all the gopis are coming and they're complaining about Krishna, that your Krishna is coming to our house and he's acting like a thief and he's stealing the butter. And then another gopi is coming and she's telling that he's not just stealing the butter, but he's also giving it to all the monkeys and he's spilling out everywhere. And like that, all the gopis used to come to Yashodama and complain. So one day Yashodama was thinking that, oh, like why all they are all complaining? It means that somewhere I am only missing out. Maybe I am not providing my lala with tasty butter and makhan, and because of that he has to go outside. So today let me cook for him. Let me make the makhan for him. Let I will only prepare for him. So with this thought, Yashoda Ma collected the milk of best of the cows, which was known as Pushpaganda, as far as I remember, and they used to give milk which were very very fragrant. And she thought that if she will make the butter out of it, if she will churn butter out of it, that Krishna will like very, very much, and then Krishna will not go to other gopi houses, and he will not steal the butter there. So actually, Krishna was also doing all these pastimes because all the gopis, although they were complaining, but they used to become very happy when Krishna used to come and steal the butter, because everyone in Vrindavan, everyone is just thinking how to serve Krishna. They don't want anything for themselves. They just want to serve Krishna. Even like they have their own children, but even more than their children, they love Krishna. It's just that they are complaining because they like that, but but because they also want to serve Krishna and they also want that Krishna comes to their house. That's why Krishna is reciprocating and Krishna goes to their house and Krishna do that thing. Krishna steals the butter and he do all those pastimes just to increase the love for him. Because in that Brahma Samohan Leela, in which the Brahma he steals all the calves and all the children of Vrindavan, that time Krishna had expanded himself and Krishna went and Krishna became all the cowherd boys and all the calves. Krishna had taken that position. And then it is mentioned in that pastime that how all the elder gopis, they were thinking that why it is happening that they are all feeling so much love for their own children. Like earlier they used to feel this much of intense love only for Krishna, but now they are feeling that much of intense love also for their own children. Even the cows were thinking the same. So we can see that in Vrindavan it is like always Krishna comes first. Like for us it is like my home, my children, my husband, my father, my mother, my job, everything revolves around us, right? I, me and mine. But in Vrindavan everything just revolves around Krishna. And Yashoda Ma is the topmost in the Vatsalya. So she's also always thinking about how to please Krishna, how that Krishna doesn't go to anyone anywhere else, and she doesn't hear any from anywhere any complaint, and she just want to give Krishna the best. So with that, Yashoda Ma sits in a place and she starts churning butter. And the description of her, what was her appearance was given, that how Yashoda Ma was wearing saffron yellow color sari, and she had a lot of flowers on her hair, and she was churning the milk. And when she was churning the milk, her bangles and her earrings were moving. She had a belt in her waist, and because she was doing so much of labor, some perspiration was coming on her face, and she was looking very, very beautiful. And because constantly she was thinking about Krishna, because of the maternal love, automatically the breast milk was coming, and her sari had become wet because of the milk which was pouring out from her breast as she was thinking about Krishna. And it was also mentioned that when she was thinking about Krishna, when she was churning, she was singing about all the childhood pastimes of Krishna. And then Prabhupada mentions in purport that actually it is a very, very nice way to remember the Lord when we convert all the pastimes into songs. And this is how the great devotees, they do. They just convert the pastimes of the Lord into song, and they just continue singing. And this was what Yashoda Ma was doing. And in a poetic way, she was just remembering all the pastimes of childhood pastimes of Krishna, the killing of Putana, Aghasur, Bakasura, and so. But then Prabhupada also mentions that how it is so important that we don't imitate Yashoda Ma. We cannot imitate the Lord or the Lord pure devotees. We cannot do that. We are just a tiny jiva. We cannot imitate. If we imitate, we are like Sahajias or Mayavad. We can just follow the footsteps. Actually, when this description is given, Prabhupada also says that it is very important for us to hear such descriptions and to meditate upon such description and to meditate upon the form of the Lord or the form of the devotees of the Lord. Because when we do that, we develop a relationship and we develop an attachment. And also we get a feeling that all this thing is not impersonal, they are all personal. Because generally most of the people are thinking that there is no form of the Lord, it is all nirakar. But only when we study more, we understand that actually nirakar is just the effulgence of the Lord. The Lord has a very, very beautiful personal form, and that's why Srimad Bhagavatam again and again describes the form of the Lord and the devotees of the Lord. Because when we think about it, first thing is that we get the conception that, okay, there is a form. Lord is not impersonal. He is not nirakar. He has a very, very beautiful form. Second, we develop a sense of attachment. We develop a sense of, that we know the Lord. Because when we have a little bit of familiarity, we automatically develop attachment. So that is why it is so very important that we read these things and also we meditate. These actually help in our bhakti, but at the same time we should not imitate. We just follow the footsteps. Like Yashodama was constantly thinking how to serve Krishna, and she was constantly thinking about the beautiful pastimes, childhood pastimes of Krishna. So we can also take inspiration and we can also try to meditate like Yashodama, but we cannot imitate her. So this is what Prabhupada had told us in the purport. Okay, so when she was doing so, Krishna was sleeping, but all of a sudden Krishna wakes up, and Krishna runs to her mother, and now Krishna is very, very hungry, and Krishna wants to drink milk, and Krishna is telling Maya, 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 but Yashoda Ma is not at all listening. Only she's just engrossed in chanting the pastimes of Krishna and churning butter for her Krishna, and she's just lost in that. So what Krishna does, Krishna holds that churning rod, and as Krishna holds it, now she's no longer able to churn it, and and she comes to her consciousness. And when she sees that Krishna had done this thing to catch her attention, she becomes very happy also. Yashodama becomes very happy, and she thinks that, oh, my son is becoming wiser and clever, and he understands that if he will hold the churning rod in this way, my attention will come to him. Oh, my son is so intelligent. And she's very happy seeing that gesture of Krishna. Okay, so next someone can read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mother Yashoda took her son on her lap and started feeding him. While Krishna was sucking the milk, Mother Yashoda smiled and enjoyed the beauty of her child Krishna.
So here we can see that how Yashoda Ma is always thinking about Krishna. Earlier she was churning the milk butter for Krishna, and then when Krishna came, she and asked for milk. She offered her breast milk, and then she's seeing the Krishna's beautiful face, and she's so happy seeing Krishna's beautiful face, and she's smiling and enjoying, and she's always engrossed in Krishna. Okay, next.
Hare Krishna Mataji. While Krishna was sucking the milk, Mother Yashoda smiled and enjoyed the beauty of her child Krishna. Suddenly, the milk which was on the stove began to boil over. Just to stop the milk from spilling, Mother Yashoda at once put Krishna aside and went to the stove. Left in that state by his mother, Krishna became very angry, and his lips and eyes became red in rage. He pressed his teeth and lips, and taking up a piece of stone, he immediately broke the butter pot. He took butter out of it, and with false tears in his eyes, he began to eat the butter in a secluded place. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so when Yashoda Ma was feeding Krishna, she saw that at a distance she had kept milk boiling there for preparing butter, I think. I don't know, some milk preparation she was about to prepare. So she had kept milk there, and that started to boil. Actually, there are a lot of beautiful descriptions given about this boiling. It is said that, we know that in material world, there is two type of energies of Krishna. One is para prakriti and one is apara. Para means whatever is spiritual, and apara means whatever is material, means superior energy and inferior energy. So we all living entities, we all spirit souls come under Parashakti, and all those things which are not living comes under apara. But in spiritual world, there is no such distinction, because there is everything, whatever is there is spiritual, and whatever is there is living. There is nothing which is not living. So even the pot, even the stone, whatever we feel is non-living here, everything has life there. So I was hearing in terms of Maharaj's lecture, and he was describing how that pot, he just thought that, oh, now Krishna, when he saw Krishna, he was very happy that, okay, now Krishna will come and drink me. Krishna will come and drink me, and he was thinking that, oh, I will come in some use for Krishna, I will be able to serve Krishna. But then he saw that Yashoda Ma was feeding Krishna, and Krishna, so he thought that, oh, then Krishna will not come to me, so what is the use of my living? Better I should suicide. There is no use of my living. And by thinking that, he starts boiling so that he can fall down in that agni, that fire of that wooden fire. So it is described how even the milk is living there, and they also just want to serve Krishna in all the way. And that milk, because that milk wanted to attempt suicide, Yashoda Ma immediately goes and she takes the milk out. So here also Prabhupada explains that it is like feeding Krishna was also a service, and she was boiling milk that also for Krishna. So she was doing whatever she was doing was for Krishna. It was like one service over other service she had to take. That time she had just to take the milk out. because otherwise everywhere the milk will be spilled out. So she just chose, but it doesn't mean that she was not taking care of her child Krishna, of her beloved child Krishna. It doesn't mean that. She was serving Krishna in all the way. Whatever she's doing, all her activities is just for serving Krishna. So although she goes with the intention of taking care of the milk which she was boiling for Krishna, Krishna was very, very offended. And Krishna was so angry that he just took a stone, and that pot in which she was churning butter, Yashodama was churning butter, he throws that stone on the pot and he breaks the pot. And he starts eating the butter. Actually, our acharyas explain one more important point in it, that Krishna wants our exclusive attention. Krishna doesn't want deviated attention. Like when we are chanting, we are thinking of so many things around. We are thinking, oh, what I will cook next. Oh, what will happen? Oh, that person told this to me. That person is not good. Or oh, she's so good. Or something. Or we will plan of, okay, so Diwali is coming. I have to buy a new sari, or I have to buy a new car. And we will be thinking of so many other things. But this is what Krishna doesn't like at all. Krishna wants our exclusive attention. This is what Krishna is showing here. Because Yashodama dropped her and she went to take care of the milk, Krishna didn't like it. Krishna wants our exclusive attention. So we should, we are practicing devotees and we may not give Krishna attention all the time, but at least we should try that whenever we are doing some service, we are chanting or we are reading, or when we are in a class, or when we are in the temple, at least that time we should give exclusive attention to Krishna. At least we should have a time in our day when we give exclusive attention to Krishna. It should not be that, okay, I'm doing something whole day, but it is all half-heartedly done. We should, at least Krishna has given everything to us. We can give some exclusive time to Krishna, right? So we should try that when we are chanting, it should be attentive chanting. When we are reading, when we are hearing in the class, when we are attending the class, whatever, when we are going to the temple, we should give some exclusive time to Krishna. Krishna likes that very much. Okay. Next.
In the meantime, Mother Yashoda returned to the churning place after setting the overflowing milk pan in order. She saw the broken pot in which the churned yogurt had been kept. Since she could not find her boy, she concluded that the broken pot was his work. She smiled as she thought, the child is very clever. After breaking the pot, he has left this place, fearing punishment. After she sought all over, she found her son sitting on a big wooden grinding mortar, which was kept upside down. He was taking butter from a pot which was hanging from the ceiling on a swing, and he was feeding it to the monkeys. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So see, we can, we may think that Yashodama was angry seeing Krishna breaking the pot and then running away. But here also Yashodama is smiling. She smiled as she thought the child is very clever. After breaking the pot, he has left this place fearing punishment. But she wants to teach a lesson to her child. After all, she accepts Krishna as her child, and Krishna has accepted Yashodama as his mother. And even though Krishna does so many wonderful pastimes, which is non-humanly and not possible, but still because of the Yog Maya, influence of Yog Maya, Yashodama never ever understand that her own son is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She always thinks that her son is her child. Her child is her child. He is none other than her child, and it is her responsibility to teach lessons so that her child doesn't go astray. So seeing her, she just smiles, and then she goes and she sees that, oh, Krishna is there, and Krishna is taking the butter out, and then he is also feeding the monkeys. Actually, it is also mentioned that how these monkeys were the monkeys in the during in the Vanar Sena of Ramayana, and here Krishna also gives those monkeys. Krishna reveals them that that those monkeys were in his in the pastimes of his previous incarnation. And so nothing that happens with Krishna is ordinary. Everything is extraordinary. Krishna always shows everywhere that he's not one of us. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he knows everything, past, present, and future. He just performs his pastimes to increase our love for Krishna. Also, it's very, very important that we read the first 9 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita, because once we know the greatness of Krishna, that how Krishna is so great, the plenary expansion of Krishna's Sesha is just he Sesha is of Krishna, and all the universes and all the planets are just on his tiny droplet of water. Krishna, just by his inhalation, so many universes are coming in, and then so many universes are annihilating, and we cannot even fathom the greatness of Krishna. And when that Krishna accepts the role of a child, of his pure devotee, it becomes so sweet. So once we understand the greatness of Krishna, we can relish the sweetness of Krishna. Unless and until we understand the greatness of Krishna, the sweetness of Krishna, like another pastime, what is happening at our home with our child, we will think that, okay, so Krishna is also one of the child doing these things. But when we understand how great Krishna is, just by Mahavishnu is also a plenary expansion, and by his inhalation, exhalation, all universes are coming into place, and then they are annihilating, and everything is just, all gravitational force is just taken care of by Sesha, Ananta Sesha, and then like Krishna can do anything at any time. So when we understand the greatness of Krishna, then we can understand that how Krishna gives himself to the pure devotee, gives himself. Krishna allows himself to be controlled by a pure devotee. So this is how sweet the pastimes become when we understand who Krishna is. That's why it's very important that we also understand Bhagavad Gita, and we read systematically Srimad Bhagavatam from first canto onwards, and then we come to the 10th canto like that. Okay. Then we'll read next.
She saw Krishna looking this way and that way in fear of her because he was conscious of his naughty behavior. After seeing her son so engaged, she very silently approached him from behind. Krishna, however, saw her coming toward him with a stick in her hand, and he immediately got down from the grinding mortar and began to flee in fear. Mother Yashoda chased him to all corners, trying to capture the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is never approached even by the meditations of great yogis.
Of great yogis. Okay, next. Next, someone can please.
Hare Krishna Mataji. In other words, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who's never caught by the yogis and speculators, was playing just like a little child for such a great devotee as Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda, however, could not easily catch the fast-running child because of her thin waist and heavy body. Still, she tried to follow him as fast as possible. Her hair loosened, and the flowers in her hair fell to the ground. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Next.
Prabhu, please continue.
Although she was tired, she somehow reached her naughty child and captured him. When he was caught, Krishna was almost on the point of crying. He smeared his hands over his eyes, which were anointed with black eye cosmetics. The child saw his mother's face while she stood over him, and his eyes became restless from fear. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah, so Yashodama thought that, okay, I shall teach my son because my son is my responsibility. And while thinking so, she took a stick. And when Krishna saw Yashodama coming with a stick, he became very, very fearful and he started running out of fear from Yashodama. And then Yashodama was also, it was very difficult for her to run, but she also started chasing Krishna. And Krishna was seen as crying, and Krishna was so fearful with and he started crying, and his kajal also, he started rubbing his eyes, and his whole face got covered with the kajal. So here Srila Prabhupada comments that how it was so wonderful, that scene was so wonderful, which even is not, it is very bewildering to even Kunti Maharani. In the prayers of Kunti Maharani, also Kunti Maharani mentions that this is very, very bewildering to her, that someone whom even fear personified is fearful. Like we are all fearful of the fear personified, but even the fear personified is fearful of Krishna. That Krishna here is getting fearful of his pure devotee, of his devotee, Yashodama. So Yashodama is a devotee, and that Krishna is getting fearful of Yashodama. So even Kunti Maharani was mentioning that this is very, very bewildering to her. So Prabhupada was stating in the purport that how like yogis and jnanis, they spend so many years doing austerities and penances and reciting Vedic hymns, but even after doing so many years of austerities, penances, and reciting so many Vedic hymns, they are not able to reach even the toenail of Krishna, But a devotee, they are just, Krishna just come under their control. That is the power of pure devotional service. That is the power of Bhakti Yoga. So when in Bhagavad Gita, it is when Krishna says that Bhakta Mam Abhijanati, then it actually means none other than a Bhakta can understand Krishna. What does a Bhakta mean? Bhakta means one who is practicing pure devotional service. And what does practicing pure devotional service means? Practicing the Navida Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Padasevanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. So this is how we perform the pure devotional service, by doing any of these limbs of pure devotional service, by hearing about Krishna, by glorifying Krishna, by remembering Krishna always. Whatever we do, we keep Krishna in the center. We actually, when we always love, we are part and parcel of Krishna. We are always eternally related to Krishna. But because of the covering, we have forgotten. So when we do this Navida Bhakti, when we chant Krishna's name, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, when we hear Krishna's pastime, when we read Krishna's pastime through texts like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, when we associate with devotees, when we do service, we go for distribution and all these things, when we do, actually that dirt gets washed off and that dormant love of Krishna again comes. So this is the process of Bhakti Yoga which Prabhupada has given us. Like we need not become a yogi or a jnani, and we should not spend the millions and millions of lifetimes in reaching to the stage of Bhakti Yoga. Prabhupada has just given the quick way. It is like a lift by which from animalistic way of life we can reach the highest perfection, that is Bhakti Yoga. So there is a verse in Brahma Samhita which says that Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Ananda Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshu durlabhamadurlabhamatma bhakta Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So in this verse it is said, Vedeshu durlabhamadurlabhamatma, who is all Vedas, Manu, Rasadi, for those person, reaching Krishna is very, very difficult. It is durlabh. But one who is bhakta, atma bhakta, one who is practicing devotional service, one who is a devotee of the Lord, for that person it becomes very, very easy. Adurlabham atma bhakta, Govindamadi Purushattamaham bhajami. So this is how the process of bhakti yoga is so very precious. We need not spend so many years in meditating. We need not acquire so much of knowledge. We just have to perform devotional service and love and devotion for Krishna. Krishna becomes sold out to that person. Although this process looks very simple, but it's not easy. It's not easy. Maya always tests, and she gives us alluring choices. But we have to choose every time the choice which takes us to Krishna rather than Maya. So we have to use our free will in a right way, choosing Krishna all the time. And when Krishna sees that, okay, that devotee, me or I, we become very, very dear to the Lord. And Krishna just souls himself to that person. But yes, Krishna is not that cheap that every person can have him. That's why there are so many tests. But we need to always pass that test under the guidance of devotees, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. In using our intelligence, how is it pleasing to Krishna or not? Is it pleasing to my Guru or not? Is this thing which I'm going to do will take me to Krishna or it will take me away from Krishna? By thinking all these things, you can take right this life. Okay, next.
Mataji, it is the same slide. I'll just read. Although she was tired, she somehow reached her naughty child and captured. Okay, I'll continue. Hare Krishna. Mother Yashoda could understand that Krishna was unnecessarily afraid, and for his benefit, she wanted to allay his fears. Being the topmost well-wisher of a child, Mother Yashoda thought, if the child is too fearful of me, I don't know what will happen to him. Mother Yashoda then threw away her stick. In order to punish him, she thought of binding his hands with some ropes. She did. Hare Krishna.
Mataji got disconnected. She'll be back.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, I'm sorry. My network was not stable that time. Okay, so I share my screen again. So this was read, right?
Yes, I'll restart from the beginning. Hare Krishna. Mother Yashoda could understand that Krishna was unnecessarily afraid, and for his benefit, she wanted to allay his fears. Being the topmost well wisher of a child, Mother Yashoda thought, if the child is too fearful of me, I don't know what will happen to him. Mother Yashoda then threw away her stick. In order to punish him, she thought of binding his hands with some ropes. She did not know it, but it was actually impossible for her to bind the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mother Yashoda was thinking that Krishna was her tiny child. She did not know that the child had no limitations. There is no inside or outside of him, nor beginning or end. He is unlimited and all pervading.
Yeah. so seeing Krishna so afraid, Yashodama thought that, oh, maybe if he's so afraid, then maybe he can go out of the house and he will not return to the house, and that will create another problem. So let me bind him. So Yashodama was not binding him as a punishment actually, but she was binding him out of her pure love for Krishna. She saw that her son is very, very fearful. So in that case, he may go out and then he will not come home. So better is to bind it. So she binds, she tries to bind Krishna. So how it is mentioned that like before this pastime, there was the pastime of the vision of the universe in Krishna's mouth. So we know that pastime, right? That how when Krishna had opened his mouth and Mother Yashoda saw inside the mouth, she could see the entire universe in Krishna's mouth. So in Krishna's mouth, if she could see actually not universe, the entire cosmic creation she could see. So how is it possible to bind him? How is it possible? Who can bind the cosmic creation? It is not possible. So that's what it is written. That Mother Yashoda was thinking that Krishna was a tiny child. She did not know that the child had no limitation. There is no inside or outside of him. There is no inside or outside, nor beginning or end. He's unlimited and all pervading. Okay, next.
Hare Krishna. Indeed, he is himself the whole cosmic manifestation. Still, Mother Yashoda was thinking of Krishna as her child. Although he is beyond the reach of all senses, she endeavored to bind him to a wooden grinding motor. But when she tried to bind him, she found that the rope she was using was short by 2 inches. She gathered more ropes from the house and added to it, but still she found the same shortage. In this way, she connected all the ropes available at home. But when the final knot was added, she saw that the rope was still 2 inches short. Mother Yashoda was smiling, but she was astonished. How was it happening? Hare Krishna.
Yeah, next.
Hare Krishna Mataji. In attempting to bind her son, she became tired. She was perspiring, and the garland on her head fell down. Then Lord Krishna appreciated the hard labor of his mother, and being compassionate upon her, he agreed to be bound up by the ropes. Krishna, playing as a human child in the house of Mother Yashoda, was performing his own selected pastimes. Of course, no one can control the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The pure devotee surrenders himself unto the lotus feet of the Lord, who may either protect or vanquish the devotee. But for his part, the devotee never forgets his own position of surrender. Similarly, the Lord also feels transcendental pleasure by submitting himself to the protection of the devotee. This was exemplified by Krishna's surrender unto his mother, Yashoda. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, so Mother Yashoda wanted to bind Krishna. And she was trying to bind, but every time the rope was 2 inches short. This we all know, right? That how she gathered all the ropes in her whole home, in her entire home, but always the rope was 2 inches short. Like how it is possible to bind the Lord who is all pervading. There is no inside and outside. He's unlimited. He's unlimited. When he saw Arjun, when he saw the universal form of Krishna, he was not able to behold it. He was very, very horrified that time. So no one can behold Krishna. No one can bind Krishna as he's unlimited. And ultimately, Yashodama becomes very tired, and seeing Yashodama being tired, Krishna allows her to bind him. So this is how it is said that when it is said that there are always the rope was 2 inches short, right? So that 2 inches, that 1 inch is the endeavor of the devotee, and that 2nd inch is the mercy of the Lord. So whatever we do, we need 2 things. It is said that the devotees are actually 2 inches always ahead of all the materialistic people. Why? Because of these 2 inches. Because they try to serve the Lord, and because Krishna sees the sincere endeavor of the devotee, Krishna gives his mercy. And these 2 things cannot be there with any of the materialistic people. So the devotees are always ahead of the materialistic people because of these 2 things. But it doesn't mean that we should be proud of it. First, we should endeavor, right? And when we endeavor and when Krishna gives mercy, automatically the humility comes. We understand our real position. This is how it is. In Bhakti, we need both. Definitely, without mercy, nothing can happen. But unless and until we show sincerity by chanting our rounds nicely, by attending classes, by reading, we show some sincerity by following the 4 regulative principles. No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling. By taking more association of devotees, when we also put endeavor, when Krishna sees our sincere efforts, he gives mercy. And then we advance in the bhakti. This is what is shown here. So, and also the point is mentioned that how Krishna also feels transcendental pleasure by submitting himself to the protection of a devotee. So Krishna also feels transcendental pleasure. This is how there is exchange of love between devotee and Krishna. Krishna is not impersonal. Krishna is not impersonal. He is a very, very loving father of all of us, and he reciprocates with each and every person, each and every. How we can see that even the monkeys who participated in the war of Ramayana, Krishna is calling them and feeding him with the butter. Krishna remembers everyone every time. We may forget Krishna, but Krishna doesn't forget even if a little thing we have done for him. Krishna loves us so unlimitedly. So it's our responsibility also to that if we have got the topmost knowledge, we try to apply in our lives, and we also try to give it to others, and that makes Krishna very happy. Okay, next.
Hey Krishna. After binding her son, Mother Yashoda engaged herself in household affairs. At that time, bound up to the wooden mortar, Krishna could see a pair of trees before him, which were known as Arjuna trees. The great reservoir of pleasure, Lord Krishna thus thought to himself, Mother Yashoda, first of all, left without feeding me sufficient milk, and therefore I broke the pot of yogurt and distributed the stock butter in charity to the monkeys. Now she was bound me up to a wooden mortar. So I shall do something more mischievous than before. And thus he thought of pulling down the 2 very tall Arjuna trees. Hare Krishna.
Next. Next, someone can read.
Krishna Mataji. There is a history behind the pair of Arjuna trees. In their previous lives, the trees were born as the human sons of Kuvera, and their names were Nala Kuvera and Manigriva. Fortunately, they came within the vision of the Lord. In their previous lives, they were cursed by the great sage Narada in order to receive the highest benediction of seeing Lord Krishna. This benediction curse was bestowed upon them because of their forgetfulness due to the intoxication. Hare Krishna Mataji. Krishna went in between the two trees and with the mortar tied, he uprooted them. Thus he delivered Nalakuvera and Manigriva. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so how when Yashodama had bound Krishna to the grinding mortar, and Yashodama went and went to do her household duties, and Krishna thought that, oh, let me do something more mysterious. Actually, whatever Krishna does is to increase our love for Krishna, and also there is always an exchange, as we already read here, that how Manigriva and Nalakuvera, they were the sons of Kuvera, who is the richest person, right? he has all the money. He's the bank holder of the heavenly planets. So he was Manigriva and Nalakuvera. They were the what to say? Oh, they were the rotten children of a rich father. So they were intoxicated and they were enjoying with women in a lake, naked. And when Narad Muni passed by, seeing the saintly person, all the women, they covered the body, but Nalakuvera and Manigriva, they didn't cover the body, and they were still enjoying and in intoxication. So Narad Muni was very disappointed seeing that, and then he cursed them that because you are all so very proud of your false position of being born of a father, rich father, Kuvera, and enjoying all these sense gratification. And you don't want to cover your body, and you also want to just remain naked. Next birth, you will remain naked for long years as trees. And he cursed them to become tall Arjuna trees. Because trees cannot cover their body, right? They can, even if there is summer or winter or whatever it is, they cannot go and take shelter also of a shed. They can just stand at a place. So this is how one who doesn't cover the body, they get the punishment. So they got the punishment. But because Narad Muni is the devotee of the Lord, and by nature he is very compassionate, he also gave the benediction that although you will become trees, but you will be delivered by Krishna himself. And just to keep the promise of his devotee, Narad Muni, Krishna delivered. Krishna goes with his grinding mortar like a plaything, and he with a little effort, he could break down both the trees. Those trees are very tall. And Nalakuvera and Manigriva, they were delivered. And they offered obeisances, they offered prayers, and then they went back to the heavenly planets again. So this is how the pastime happened. So how Krishna delivered both of them. So we should also pray that how Nalakuvera and Manigriva were delivered. We are also very rotten, Krishna. So please deliver us also and engage us in your loving devotional service. This is how the entire Damodar pastime is. Actually, it is 8:05 now, 8:07 now. I could have stopped at 8, but then I thought, let me complete the entire pastime. Then there comes the Damodar Ashtakam, which we will sing, and we will read the translation in the next class, and we will discuss the translation in the next class. So I would like to stop here. If anyone has any comments or any question, they can ask. So I hope everyone will offer lamp to the Lord, and will encourage other family members and other neighbors and everyone, friends and everyone to offer lamp. And yeah, there are so many pastimes, beautiful pastimes to be discussed in Kartik actually. So I think there are no questions. So we will end here and we will meet again next Friday. Manchakalapatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. राधा दामोदर की जय, कार्तिक मास की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय, सभी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल, हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much for the